Kathy is always on. So listen, let's go ahead and get started. I want to maximize the moment that we have with you today. Hey, Vernisha, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm not certain how many of you was on the call this morning and maybe not even know where it came from. But this morning, from meeting with various clients, I just really came impressed upon us getting to a place where we are making a decision. Hey, Waxamillion. Hey, Shamia Hicks from Boston, Blessed Branches is in the building, where we really make a decision to win. The decision to win, winning or losing, is not based on what happens in the game. It's based on how you prepare, not only physically, but how you prepare mentally for the game. I'm going to say that again. Winning and losing does not happen while you're in the game. Winning and losing takes prepare mentally and physically before the game. And in business, what do you mean, coach, by preparing physically? I want to start there first. The preparation physically is what many of you, this particular group that is on the line, does day in and day out. And that is to make something that you plug in. Not only do you make certain that you plug in, but you plug in and you work the system as it has been created to work. Not only do you plug in and work the system as it has been created to work, many of you find your niche in the system where you learn the system well enough to figure out how to make that system work for you directly. For example, when you have Ms. Frida that is on the line, she's learned how to work the system of gathering customers. And she's learned how to work that system where it works for her. She's learned how to work it where it works for her. Miss Bernadine Kirkland that's on the line. She's learned how to utilize that system, understand the system, and then figure out how to best use the system that works for her when it comes to bringing and getting new dispensary owners. Kathy Weathersby. I can go on and on about those that are successful in this business. They are successful not only because they plug in to the system, but they actually work the system and then identify how to better work understand the system so that it can work for you. So when you get to that phase, you have to understand that systems and sequences is what causes success. I'm going to say that again. Systems and sequences is what causes success. And a system, when you think about a system, the purpose of a system, some of you may have heard this before, is to save yourself energy, stress, time. Save yourself, let me get it right, stress, money, and time. So that's system. That's as an acronym. And essentially, when you don't function from a system, you waste time. When you don't function from a system, you waste energy. When you don't function from a system, you waste resources. When you don't function from a system, you waste money, right? And so it's imperative that you as a group and as individuals learn the system, and then not only learn the system so you can work it, but learn the system in a way where you can make that system work for you, right? Because we understand that everybody does not have the same talent, the same skill set, the same comfort level, right? And we see that based on who is able, some people are able to sell more of one product than they are the other. So you got to identify what part of this system is really going to work for me. And when you identify that, you're going to have to learn how to master working that system. You have to learn how to master working that system. And I'm saying this because I've been coaching and talking to many of you, maybe not necessarily that's on this line. Many other dispensary owners have shared that of all of the different things that they do, but none of that, but a lot of it is outside the context of the system. So they feel like they're spinning their wheels. They feel like they're going in circles, because the key is not is you may go through the steps, but if you go through the steps and you don't understand steps, that becomes problematic in and of itself. If you go through a math equation, going through the steps, but then all of a sudden they reverse the order, and you don't understand why the steps were the way they were, then you'll get the problem wrong. And so it's imperative for those of you that are leaders, when you're bringing people on the line, when you're bringing people into the business, do not only just say, hey, let's go over your first 48 hours, don't, which is the Sales Academy training. The key word is train. So that means everything that it says, I think it's about 10, 12 steps that you have to go through. You must make certain that your person understands it. If it's taking you 15 minutes or so to run through the Sales Academy training, then with the person that you brought on, your new dispensary owner that's under you, if it's taking you just 15 minutes or so to train them, then you haven't trained them. And I promise you, they heard you, but now, are there exceptions to the rules? Absolutely, they are exception to, but you have to make certain that everybody goes through the same system, because guess what? Every system is different. And the why you do what you do is very important in how you do it. It's very important. If you don't understand why of a thing, then you can work that thing, but eventually when things go off, when things shift, when things doesn't turn out the way you thought it was, you get flustered and frustrated because you didn't understand the why of it. Let me give you some examples. If the system tells you in the first 48 hours, it's write down your why. Why are you doing this? What's your why? And you may say, I want to make extra money, income. That's your why. You may say, because I heard that CBD is the fastest growing industry in today. That's your why. You may say, because I always wanted to own my own business. That's your why. But the challenge is, if I am coaching you in the first 48 hours and you gave me any one of those things as your why, I would say that it's not good enough. Because at the moment you're not making, you may have put in a little bit of time, and at the moment you're not making the extra money that you thought you was going to make, guess what you're going to do? You're going to quit and you're going to go to something else. At the moment you experience challenges, rejection, standard client objections, and all of that, and it feels like you're going against that brick wall because you said you wanted your own business, guess what? You're going to say to yourself, maybe this is not the business for me. Why? So why? Because the why is not deep enough. The why, when you're explaining the why, when you're helping business builder get to the why, what you want to do is get to the pain point. You want to get to the point where they begin to cry. And so here's a rule of thumb. Some of you may have heard it before. Some of you may have heard me say it. If your why does not make you cry, then it's good enough. Because the real question is not, why are you getting in this business? real question is, what is it that's motivating you to stay in the business when the business is not going as you think it should? Y'all talk back to me. Is this making sense? Since we got the chat line open now, y'all put in the chat, is this making sense to you? And I'm talking specifically to those leaders that are building leaders. I'm talking to those leaders that are building leaders. What is the real true essence? What is the real truth as to why you're actually getting in this? So this is what I'm talking about when we talk about going through this first 48 hours. Now, let's go to another part of the Sales Academy training. And I don't know, well, I'm just going to follow where I am. The next thing, we talk about your top 100 list. We talk about it all the time. What's your top 100 list? And you know what? When you're going, most times, let me tell you, if you're sitting down with the potential, with a new business builder, and remember I told you, if you get through it within 15 minutes, then you're training. If you get through the why and that question about the why, what is your why, and it doesn't get to a pain point, it doesn't start to make them jerk, it doesn't become a tear jerker, it doesn't get them emotional, then you didn't dig deeper enough with your potential business builder. When you talk about the top 100 list, most people, when you go through this, you just simply tell them, I want you to write down 100 people from your phone. Write down the top 100 people, write down the 100 people from your phone, from your contacts. Just write them down. That's how is it a true statement? Would many of you agree? Isn't that what we do for those of us that's actually going through the first 48 hours with our business builders? How many of us that's on the line will be honest and say, yeah, that's what I tell them. Y'all talk back to me. I really want this to be in a panel discussion. Yeah, how many of you would say, yes, I tell them just write down 100 people that they know. Who does that? Right. Now, Coach Dan is going to say, no, that's not what I want you to do. I don't want you to stop there. I'm going to do it. I'm going to say what I want you to do is I want you to get a piece of paper, and I want you to put 2 columns. On one column, I want you to write business builder. On the other column, I want you to write customer. And then I want you to critically think about the top 100 people that you're dealing with. Those individuals that are in business, those individuals that like to talk, those individuals that has strong networks, those individuals that you've seen get into multi-level marketing before, those individuals that are professional. I want you to put all of their names under the business builder column. And I need you to give me at least 50 of them. Now, I want you to think about all of the people that are sick, all the people that are overweight, all of the people that you talk to that deal with anxiety, all of the people that got anger issues, all of those. Are y'all seeing what I'm saying? Now I want you to write all of them down as potential customers. Now, so people, watch this. For me, if you already broke and you're already struggling and you already borrowing, I'm not going to necessarily put you down in my top 50. Now, I want y'all to, my top 50 for business builders. Now, I want you to understand, you're going to get to that list, but you're not going to be in the first calls that I make. Are y'all understanding how I'm thinking this through? How we're being strategic in our process when we're training those that are part of our first 48 hours? This is what is essential. You got to get this, you guys, because now watch how I work the system for a customer is going to be distinctly different than how I work the system for a potential business builder. Are y'all hearing me? It's different. My approach to a business builder is going to be different than my approach to a potential customer. So when I do my top 100 list, I'm going to divide the list. And then all of the other people I'll just put in at the bottom. That's why it's the top 100. It didn't just say 100. It's the top 100 people. Now, here's how many of you have ever heard a business builder say, I don't even know 100 people. I don't have 100 people in my phone. Y'all talk back to me. Y'all know I'm a preacher. I need feedback. I'm not able to chat to entire group. Please thank Alicia for joining us from Texas. All right, I just said it. Thank you, Alicia, for joining us for Texas. Thank you so much. Welcome. Now, so are you guys seeing? Are you seeing this? I want you to catch this, because how I approach the business builder is different than how I approach the customer. And this is what I'm dealing with when I'm walking them through the training. Now, how many of you have ever stated or heard someone say, I don't know 100 people? Y'all put in the chat line. If you've heard somebody say that, I don't know 100 people. I don't know 100 people. I don't know 100 people. This is the part of the training, the first 48 hours, Sales Academy training. This is the part of the training where you begin to teach them about how to identify networks. What you talking about, Coach? Of course you know 100 people. Let's start with your family members. So some of them, when you're working this thing the right way, some of them, Tammy, you may say it like this. You may say, if they can't quickly identify the 50 business builders and the 50 potential customers they have, then here's what else you do. This is what else you do. You start saying, okay, I tell you what, let's write down all of your family members. I want every uncle. I want every auntie. I want every this. I want every that. Have them write down their cousins now and write them all down. Because why? Your family is a network. Then I want you to write down your friends. Start off with your closest friends. Then I want you to write your high school friends down that you have access to. I want you to write that. Y'all see where I'm going with this, right? Then what I want you to do, if you go to church, I want you to write down some of your church members that you know. What are you doing now? You're helping them to identify and realize that they know more people, right? They have more people in their networks than they realize. And now you're helping them to identify. Now, this is somebody that can't readily identify their 50 business builders, their 50 business builders, and or their 50, excuse me, their 50 customers. So then once they get the list down, you have them with the same thing with the column. Now you start asking questions about those individuals. Really what you're doing is a personality profile. You're profiling the list to see what is the best way to work the system and to get those people actively involved and engaged. I only got about 5 more minutes. Well, actually, I got to stop before 5 minutes due to the fact we had a transition. So here's what I want to do. If you got any questions. Yes, I'm sorry, Tammy. I'm sorry. But I got some good news. Eventually, we're going to be moving this training to 1 hour a week, not necessarily on Wednesdays. We got big announcements that's coming. I promise we are working on it diligently. And for those of you that are serious about training, serious about coaching, you have access to it. And we're going to be talking about that soon. But what I want to do over the next few moments that I have with you is I want to see if there are any questions so far, and is there any feedback? Y'all give me some feedback of what you heard, and if there's any questions, I want to hear from you now. Questions and or feedback. Serious about training, can hardly wait for more. Thank you so much, Bernadine. I know you are. I know you are. Questions or feedback? Anybody else? Was helpful? Learn some of this. Those of you that have walked someone else academy trainings give you a revisiting list, introduction of FBL. Okay, thank you. So that's a smart thing. Good. Definitely learn strategy to get to a list of 100. Good. And Bernadine, as a leader, do you understand what I mean by it? I'm certain you're going to say yes. That is more than just going through those 12 questions, if you will. It's more than just going through those 12 questions. It's more than just reading the questions, having them fill it out. It's more when you ask, what's your goals, your long-term goals, short-term goals? Yes, thank you, Frida. Thank you. See, all of those things, long-term goals, short-term goals, it's not for them to just casually, oh, I want a house, I want this, I want that. You want to really dig deep, because probing to go deeper is important. Absolutely. 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 And this is the level of training that we really want to get you. Because, like, for example, once we get to this hour training, for those of you that are serious about coaching and training, and I'm saying that for a reason, the way I'm saying it, what's going to happen is this first 30 minutes may be something like we had today. But in that training now, we have almost like a dry erase board. We have the PowerPoint up and we're walking you through it. But then the next 30 minutes, we're going to have you actually do some of the stuff we're talking about. You see, we'll do a little bit of role playing. I may ask Tammy, I need you to walk Bernadine through her first 48 hours as being a business builder. And then we talk about some of the movement that we're seeing in the dialogue. Because remember, you guys, everything about what we do, first and foremost, start with a relationship. If you're not establishing a relationship with the person that you're talking to before you go to ask them for something, you've already reduced your chances by 50% to get them to say yes. Let me say that one more time. If you're not establishing a relationship with a person that you are seeking to become a business builder and or a customer, then you're already reducing, watch now, reducing your ability to win them over by 50%. You must build that relationship even in order for you to know how to integrate, watch this, your process or your proposition in the system. You got to know that. You got to know that. You're going to have people that's going to use the product, benefit from the product, love the product, and will never, and say to you, hey, I don't want to sell the product. And they're going to refer people to you and all of that good stuff. That's what they're going to do. However, they're going to say, I don't want to sell the product. So now, after they've spent $500, $600, $700, $800, $900 in this product because it's working and their life is changing, I'm not going to ask them to sell the product. I'm going to simply ask them, I'm going to say, hey, I appreciate your referrals. I'm so grateful for it. But here's what I would like to do. Would you like to cut, watch this now, your product costs in half? And what person is going to say, no, I don't want to save 50% or save up to 50%? Nobody's going to say that. And when, at the point they say yes, then you're going to show them. Now they become a business builder. You're going to get $200 to $400 as a result of that. And then you're going to say, hey, what I want you to do, instead of referring people to me, just refer them to your website. You don't have to do no work. I don't want you to recruit nobody. All I want you to do is just give them your website and let them go online and buy from you. Are y'all getting this? I'm so sorry. I gotta stop. This is absolutely great. Absolutely amazing. I really love doing this stuff, but it's my time, and I'm going to turn this over to the warm and the wonderful Kathy Weathersby.